Hey, Whippersnappers, this is Tortimer the Gray. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Gray version. This week is our final week in the Elite Four. Our fighting type trainers are coming out today as we take on the acolytes of the fighting type Elite Four member. And yes, the final week in the Elite Four, second to last week of the entire series. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. And you guys put together some fantastic teams this week. A lot of really cool variety. Fighting is, I feel like I say this every week. I like a lot of types, but fighting is one of my favorites. It's one of those other, underappreciated types. I mean, Psychic was so dominant in the first gen and things like that. And so I think some of the fighting types kind of got underwhelming. But, some of these fighting types are some of my favorite Pokemon. So, yeah, I love this type. And so it was cool to see you guys put together some neat teams. Red Wolf's Gallade taking out Navi there. Eve switching back in, going to throw up the Fake Out, taking on the Mega Blaziken there. Switching back out because ain't nobody got time for that. Shendu comes in. The Protect fails because Shendu switches in, obviously. And then I expect the Protect again, so I take the chance to set up a Dragon Dance. End up taking some damage from the Blaziken there, but I'm expecting with the attack boost, Extreme Speed will finish off, which it obviously, as you just saw, it did. And then the Krillagunk comes in, the Fairy Hunter. Shendu is going to get the Dragon Ascent off there and finish off the Toxicroak, leaving Gallade and Heracross. And so we're going to Extreme Speed the Gallade. Works out nicely there. Heracross is going to be a little bit bulkier, though, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out. Fumzy comes in, takes that Night Slash like a boss. Going to throw up the Will-O-Wisp here in a second. There it goes. Getting the Heracross all set up. I think... Yeah, Heracross has guts. I was like... I didn't think about that before I did it. Yeah, Heracross has guts, and I guess luckily for me, Red Wolf had him scarfed, and so he was locked into Night Slash, and so couldn't use the facade that he said he was carrying. So that worked out fairly nicely, and Blackavar was able to come in and finish off the Heracross to win the first battle of the week. So thank you so much, Red Wolf, for bringing on your team. Very cool little team. I appreciated the fun battle. Always appreciate a good battle. So thank you so much for your participation this week. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, battle number 2 up against Shunosaurus, and Eve leads off against Wally, which is a good callback to Ruby and Sapphire, where Wally was your pseudo-rival, I guess, and had a Ralts. Eve is going to switch out here since the Sucker Punch doesn't work, and don't have a lot that we really want to throw physically up against the Chestnut, so we're going to switch out there, but they predict that and bring in Popeye the Blaziken to take that. Fumzy's losing lots of health from the Leech Seed, so we're like, well, let's get out of there. Bring Shendu in, and Shendu is going to go ahead and throw up the Dragon Ascent, which will finish off the Blaziken, so that works out fairly nicely. Then we've got the Chestnut that comes back in, throws up that Spiky Shield. The Dragon Ascent's going to land, and we're going to get hurt by the Spiky Shield there. And then Chestnut switches out. I expect that there's going to be a switch because they know they can't protect the next turn, so I take the chance to set up that Dragon Dance. And then I'm able to Dragon Ascend on Kermit there and finish him off. Then Nacho comes in and is going to get hit, but going to survive it and get healed up by the Citrus Berry and be able to take out Rayquaza. And then Navi comes in, he's going to throw up that Hyper Voice, finishing off the Halucha. And then Hercules is going to switch in, throw up that Earthquake, which Navi's going to take pretty hard, but going to be able to throw up some damage up on the Beetle there before switching into Fumzy, expecting the other Earthquake. So that works out. The immunity goes into effect. Knockoff lands, which unfortunately is going to get rid of our Black Sludge, but we're able to get the Will-O-Wisp up, which is going to burn and finish. I figured I'd just do that in case they decided to switch, but anyway, Fumzy stays in, and Wally throws up a Psycho Cut, which does not kill. Even super effective stab, not enough to kill Fumzy. He's too OP. And able to get the burn up on Wally there. Navi then going to switch back in. The Drain Punch not doing very much as it's not very effective, and Wally is burned. And the Hyper Voice going to finish off there. Chestnut switching in, throwing up that Seed Bomb, which is going to finish off Navi. And then Blackavar is going to switch in, throw up the Sludge Wave, and one-shot. So thank you so much, Shunosaurus, for your participation this week. A fun little team. I love you guys all, even though there was some Pokemon that carried through many of your teams. It was cool to see the variety that you guys all brought, and it was a fun battle there. So thank you so much, Shunosaurus. and let's check out what the rest of you guys had this week. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, battle number 3 up against David Kahn, and seeing another new face still. We got Throw here and a couple of other new faces as well as some familiar favorites there, but Eve finishes off the throw before he even gets a chance to do anything. Then the Conkeldurr switches in, so we're going to switch into Navi. Navi's going to take that Mach Punch like it's nobody's business, and then she's going to throw up a Hyper Voice here, which is going to one-shot the poor Korogunk. The Poison Unicorn goes down in one shot. Never even had a chance. And then Polly's Wrath, which I love that name, by the way, DevCon. Polly's Wrath switches in. Fumzy's going to take a couple of hits here. Blizzard, Waterfall, nothing phases Fumzy. Going to get that burn thrown up. And Poliwrath going to start taking a little bit of damage. So he's going to switch out. Conkeldurr comes in, takes the Sludge Bomb, and gets poisoned. And I'm not sure if Conkeldurr is carrying Guts or something too, but throws at that Fire Punch, which doesn't do a ton. And then Fumzy, for the first time, shows off his new move for the week. I wanted to tweak a couple of people if I could, and really the only person who had any opportunity for tweaking was Fumzy. And he could learn Psybeam, which doesn't do a ton for him, but I figured it would be an interesting thing to kind of pull out on you guys. You guys have seen Fumzy for weeks and months, and so shaking things up a little bit, I figured it might be entertaining or interesting at the very least for you guys in your battles this week. Navi going to finish off Polly's Wrath, and then I'm Chicken switches in, so Shendu comes in. Shendu seemed to kind of be my Blaziken counter this week, because I didn't really have a whole lot else to take on with Blaziken, I guess. I mean, I guess Blackavar, but sometimes these things are so hard-hitting, it's hard to get some of these other Pokemon even out there, and I can't burn it with Fumzy, so Fumzy couldn't do anything for it. So Shendu often did, although today he didn't quite get the opportunity going down before he could really get anything off there. So that's unfortunate. Eve gets the Fake Out, and then she's going to switch out. Theodon's going to take that Earthquake, which is going to do about half, but it's going to get back up with its leftovers there. It switches the stance and goes for the Shadow Sneak because I pretty much expect to be dead after this turn, which in fact does happen. And so we got a little bit of damage there off with the Shadow Sneak, and then Navi's going to switch in, take that Brave Bird like a boss, and then throw up the Hyper Voice. I need to get a Sylveon. In Hexacolock Season 3, we need to somehow get a Sylveon. And or a Wigglytuff. I would love a Wigglytuff too. After just having done Pokemon Yellow Dice Lock, Luna has renewed. I mean, I've always loved Wigglytuffs for whatever reason, but I would love to actually use one in-game at some point. But we finish off Mr. Gallade with Eve's Sucker Punch and wrap up the battle. So thank you so much, David Kahn, for participating this week and for coming back week after week. I greatly appreciate it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more battles to get through, so we're going to jump right into it. But thank you so much again. We won't linger, though. So here we go. Thanks again. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against Nougat. And this battle was actually my first foray into doing Showdown on my phone. I was actually, Nougat and I did this battle Thursday over lunch. It was the last time slot for the week. And I ended up getting stuck at work. Well, I wasn't really stuck at work. My dog, the Fuzzball, was at the groomers that day. He gets groomed like every month and a half. Well, every month and a half to 2 months or whatever. We take him into the groomer, and so today happened to be his grooming day. Well, I guess I'm recording it Thursday evening. So I'm recording this Thursday evening. So, but Thursday was his grooming day, and so usually if I drop him off first thing in the morning around lunch, they usually get back to me, and I hadn't heard from him, and so I told my wife she's on spring break, or was on spring break this last week, and she was like, "You coming home for lunch?" I was like, "I'm gonna wait and just see if they call me," because the groomer's kind of like at the opposite side of town, and I work downtown, and then we live on the opposite direction of the groomers, so it's kind of like I'll pick him up and then come home. I didn't want to like go home and then drive all the way back out there or whatever. And so I was at work still from noon to 1 or whatever. So somebody had mentioned that they had played it on their phone while they were at school or something. They were battling me, and so I was like, you know what? I didn't realize it worked on the phone. I know that I don't have an app or anything, and so I checked that out, and I thankfully was able to quickly recreate my team. Actually recreated it on my work computer, and then emailed myself the text so that I can import it into the phone. But it actually worked out pretty well. I couldn't see the chat or anything, but it worked out okay. And then I was still able to save the replay. I emailed myself the replay link or whatever, and it was able to go. So sorry to talk over your episode like that, or your battle, Nougat, but it was interesting. It was the first time I really tried it. So that could be something that could open things up in the future, especially if we ever do a season 2 of this. If we do a Season 2, it won't be starting until fall at the earliest, but but it was just kind of interesting, because I honestly have kind of lost my life almost entirely since I started this series. I'm half really excited for it to be over, because pretty much 2 hours every day of the week, and pretty much the only 2 hours I have guaranteed free during the week, I've spent sitting here waiting for showdown battles and things like that. So I was thinking, if we ever did a Season 2, it's going to be like, alright, you guys got to battle me on Tuesday or something, or you're not getting in this week, as opposed to stretching it out throughout the whole week. But if I can do it on the phone thing, then I could be out and about doing things. I could be running, like, I used to be able to, like, run errands over lunch, or take the dog for a walk, or do all these other things. And so if I can get it set up to do it on my phone, that would be ideal, and we could do this all the time. It would be great. I could even do other time slots for Season 2 or something as well. So that's a cool thing to figure out. Just got to make sure I've got my teams on my phone and everything, and it shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, Nougat, thank you so much for your battle. Sorry that it became story time, but you had a good battle there. I appreciate you coming back all the time and giving me a challenge. Really, all of you guys who come back every week, which a lot of you guys do, and have been, and everything like that, and I'm sure we'll continue to into next week as we finish up the series. It means a lot to me. So we still got 4 battles to go, though, so not to get all sappy and sentimental on you. So let's move on to the next one. Thanks again, Nougat, so much. Sorry it was story time. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against the Espresso Cat, and he leads off with Mewtwo, which is I think a new addition to this week's roster. As I said, you guys had some familiar favorites, and I think everybody had a Blaziken on their team, but I think this is the first Mega Mewtwo we've seen this week. So Eve throws up the Fake Out there, and I throw up the Sucker Punch there, just hoping to get stuff up, but ECat's too smart for that. He throws up some setups and is able to take down Kangaskhan. I think the one turn I was like, okay, forget it. If he's going to set up Reflects and everything, I'm going to just go for the return. Happened to be the turn that he decided to attack, which is how it always goes, I suppose. Shendu, though, comes in, finishes off Mewtwo, finishes off Barry the Machamp there. Bullet comes in at that point. Shendu's going to switch out. Fumesy's going to come in and throw up the Will-O-Wisp here. Takes a Zen Headbutt like it's nobody's business. His physical defense is too OP. And so Power Up Punch, he's going to start setting up to get some attack going, so that hopefully his next Zen Headbutt will probably do more. But we get the Burn Up finally, so that's going to help us out as well, as the Power Up Punches keep rolling in. Fumesy, again, pulls out the Psybeam this week, which doesn't do a whole lot. But unfortunately, I replaced Flamethrower with Psybeam this week, so my only other attacking option is Sludge Wave, which Lucario would obviously be immune to thanks to his Steel typing. So Psybeam it is, and eventually 4 hits later finishes off the Lucario. And then Halucha switches in, is going to get burned pretty quickly, and Fumesy, I believe, is going to throw up the Pain Split here. Yeah, so we get the Pain Split to get our health back above 51%, and then we're going to switch out, bring in Navi, as the Halucha sets up the Roost, and Navi's going to take a Thunder Punch, but throw up that Hyper Voice, which is going to finish off the Halucha there. Then Mara the Blaziken switches in. Blaze Kick does serious damage to Navi and inflicts the burn before Navi's going to be able to one-shot it and take it down. And then the Mind Shao? Because Mind Fu is the baby. Mind Shao, I believe, is the adult. I actually really like Shiny Mind Shao. I don't like that line in general. Neither Mind Fu nor Mind Shao have ever been Pokemon I've liked, but I actually really like the shiny on this one. It's an attractive shiny. So Fumesy is going to be down, and then going to get acrobated to 1%, and then Pain Splitted up to about half. And then I think at that point ECat decides that he didn't want to finish it up. I don't think ECat likes Fumesy much, especially Pain Split. He's mentioned it weeks before that Pain Split is like the most annoying move ever. But you guys got to come prepared for Fumesy. So I won't say sorry for that. Fumesy's been on the team for months, so gotta come prepared. But yeah, so there we go. Thank you so much, ECat, for participating week after week. Let's check out the next one. Alrighty, guys, here we go up against Nurion, and I told Nurion after this battle, so a little spoiler, but it's too bad that he was already the Grass type Elite Four member, because this was a really good battle, and I was like, oh, it's too bad you were the Grass Elite 4 leader, because otherwise you might have been the fighting one. So, yeah, it was a great battle, so you guys are in for a good one here. Fumesy throws up the burn on the Poliwrath there, gets that going, a little bit of aggressive damage. Fumesy's going to take the Focus Blast, which does a decent amount of damage considering it's resisted, but it is a special attack, and the Psybeam lands and actually confuses, so that works out pretty nicely. As we kind of rip through the Poliwrath with a couple of Psybeams and the burn. So he goes down, but then Mewtwo's going to switch in, and Fumesy's getting the heck out of there. Shendu switches in, so we got Legendary on Legendary here. And again, another Mega Mewtwo X, so that was very cool. Only a couple of you guys went that direction, so it was neat to see them. I don't see Mega Mewtwo's very often, but I don't spend a lot of time up in the higher tiers either, so it was cool for me to see him, because he's one of those Pokemon that I just never see. Eve throws up against the Arceus, but is going to switch out there. Switch it to Navi, and just get lucky that Arceus goes for a Dragon move, and then switches in the Blaziken, who's going to go down to that Hyper Voice. Navi's Hyper Voice is too OP as well. Pretty intense with the Hyper Voice. And Breloom's going to come in, so Fumesy's going to switch back in for the Giga Drain there. Want to save Navi for Mewtwo and Arceus if necessary, because she's pretty intense with that Hyper Voice there. So Fumesy's going to switch in and take a well, he doesn't switch in, but he's going to stay in and take a Psy Strike from the Mewtwo. And then Theoden's going to switch in, going to throw up the King Shield there, hoping for having some attacks or something, but Arceus is going to stay its distance and throw out the Focus Beam there. So Blackavar's going to switch in, take hard damage from the Fire Blast, but actually be able to get the Sludge Wave up before getting Draco Meteored into Oblivion. So, yeah, half special attack though, thankfully, so that's going to give us a little bit more longevity. And Eve is going to be taking some poison damage, throw up that return, finish off the God of Pokemon there as Arceus goes down. And then Breloom's going to come in, sets up the Focus Punch, but we're going to get out of there. And Theoden's going to be able to be immune to that and the Sludge Bomb, so that works out pretty nicely for us. As we throw up the Night Slash, he doesn't really have anything that he can do to Breloom so much. That Seed Bomb doing a lot more damage than I probably would like. And so Theoden's going to be taking some hard damage here without doing a whole lot to the Breloom. But I feel like I want to get as much done with Theoden as I can, because I really think that Eve and Navi are going to be the key to defeating Mewtwo. So we get the Fake Out going here, gets Mewtwo under 33 or about 33%. So third health, and then Eve is going to go down, which leaves us with just Navi, and Navi is going to take a Psy Strike, which does hard damage, but we're going to be able to get the Hyper Voice up, and then Breloom's going to come in and throw up that Sludge Bomb, and somehow Navi lives that with 6% health, and the Hyper Voice is able to finish off the Breloom. But yeah, it was a really close finish there. It was probably the closest, well, it was the closest finish of any battle this week. And so I was like, Nerion, if you weren't the grass leader, you would have definitely been the fighter one, because he almost got me. But we pulled it off in the end, so that was awesome. But yeah, thank you so much, Nerion, for an awesome battle and for having been around the whole time and everything like that. You guys know the spiel. I really do appreciate it. So thank you so much. We got 2 more battles to get to this week, so let's jump right into them, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, last Elite Four training battle this week as we go up against Mac. And Mac is going to lead off with a Toxicroak, who Eve's going to fake out, and then the Halucha switches in, so I'm assuming that Mac was expecting the Earthquake there, which was a good predict on his part. But Eve's going to be able to survive the hit and finish off the Halucha there, so Crow comes in. I expect the fake out, so I switch into Theoden. Bouncer's going to throw up the Sucker Punch, and so Theoden's going to go ahead and switch out. Fumesy's going to come in and throw up the Will-O-Wisp here, which is going to end up landing on Mellow there. The Metacham? Metacham. Alright. What's the... Metatite. Metatike? Metatite. Anyway, Theoden's going to go up against Poe there, and Poe's going to take almost no damage from that. So we throw up the King Shield here, just seeing what will happen. He throws up the Parting Shot, which is going to lower our attack and special attack before he goes on out. So I switch into Shendu, who again, kind of my Blaziken counter this week, I guess, and is going to be able to throw up that Dragon Ascent, which KFC is obviously going to be able to protect. and then throws up the Brave Bird against Shendu, and he's going to throw up the Dragon Ascent this turn, which thankfully it's not a 2-turn move, so they can just, you know, dodge it, but we're able to do that as Mega Medicham switches in now, and is going to be able to get some hard damage, but also give some damage, and Shendu is going to go down as Mega Medicham gets finished off by the burn. So Fumzi and Shendu doing some work there to finish that one off, as Bouncer switches in on Fumzi, throwing up Gunk Shot, etc. Fumzi's going to get that Will-O-Wisp up, which is going to help us out considerably with progressive damage and cutting some of the attack power of the Croagunk. And Fumzi's going to throw up that Psybeam, which is 4 times effective against the Croagunk, and going to finish him off without too much trouble there. Then Machamp switches in and is going to get burned, but still be able to do pretty decent damage to Fumzi considering. Pain Split going to get us back in the green, but the Dynamic Punch is going to land and get us confused, which is going to probably be a little bit of trouble, but the Facade's going to land, do some hard damage first, and we fight through the confusion, so that works out pretty nicely as Machamp gets burned and down in range that the next burn should kill him. So expecting the Facade, I decided to save Fumzi, bring in Theoden, and just let the burn do its job, at which point we throw up the King Shield as the Parting Shot comes out, and we're going to get a crunch from Poe and throw up the Sacred Sword, which, since our attack's been lowered, doesn't do as much as we would probably like, but does half. And Theoden's going to go down, but Theoden's got friends in the wings, and he's going to be able to throw up the Will-O-Wisp there on Poe, which is now going to be able to do very little damage against Fumzi, except for the defense lowering coming from that. The Sludge Bomb is going to get Poe down in range of the burn, and the burn is going to finish him off there. So another really good battle. Thank you so much, Mac, for fighting this week. Actually, honestly, I was thinking you might be the Elite Four member this week as well, but it turned out you were already the Ice Gym Leader, and I know you were very happy with that position, so I figured I wouldn't take it away from you. But another great battle. Thanks so much. A nice long one and some very close matchups there. So thank you so much, Mac, for participating this week and every week. And we got the Elite Four leader now up next, so let's check it out, shall we? Here we go. Alright, a relative newcomer to the channel and the series, but Celine Eleanor is back this week, and she is, I'm assuming she, based on the name and the avatar and everything, is coming out guns a-blazing, and Eve is going to be able to finish off the Lucario, but not before Lucario does some serious damage to Eve and put her in range to die to the Mach Punch from Hanukkah there. So Fumzi switches in as they bring out the fairy, sort of. The Gallade comes in, is going to get burned. A little bit of progressive damage there, which works out nicely. And then Navi's going to switch in to what I assume is going to be a Psycho Cut, which it ends up being. And so Navi's going to be able to take that and the Shadow Steak without too much trouble, throwing up that Hyper Voice and finishing off the Mega Gallade there. So Navi doing work, seriously. Amazing. She's so good. And then Hyper Voice finishes off Hanukkah. And Broom comes in, the Breloom, and finishing off Navi, getting the Toxic Heal up. Fumzi is going to get Spored, which is going to be a bit of a challenge for us, as I believe that he's going to pretty much refuse to wake up for a considerable period of time. So as Fumzi sleeps through the match, they switch into Poliwrath there, and Spinning Belly, going to throw up the Psychic on Fumzi, which is going to be rough. Fumzi is going to get that Will-O-Wisp up there, and get a little bit of health back from the Black Sludge, but the Ice Beam coming from the Poliwrath then is going to finish off Fumzi. So he's going down, 3 Pokemon down, bring in Shendu. Shendu's going to go ahead and throw up the Dragon Ascent and finish off the Poliwrath there. So that works out pretty nicely. Then they're down to Breloom and Scrafty, and Breloom's going to go down to Shendu's Dragon Ascent, and then Scrafty will switch in here. Pantshawk. Shendu's going to switch then out at that point. Blackavar going to take in Hard Ice Punch, and throw up the Earth Power, which is going to do a little over half. But the knockoff is going to finish off Blackavar, which will leave us with Shendu and Theoden left. So Theoden comes in, going to throw up that King Shield, hoping for the physical attack to land, which it does, and we get the half attack bonus there. Knockoff doing decent damage considering the half attack and everything like that. But the Sacred Sword lands and is going to be able to finish off the Scrafty. So a great battle. Thank you so much, Celine Eleanor, for battling, or Door for Lethal for battling this week and being around the last couple of weeks. Always fun to get fresh blood in here, and you obviously know what you're doing. You always give me interesting comments and things like that. And so, yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for the battle. And thank you guys all for battling so much for this week and the series at whole. A lot of you guys have been around since the very beginning almost, so very cool that this series has gone on as long as it has. But we got to figure out what we're going to be doing next week in the final episode of the series, so let's check that out on the spreadsheet right now. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, very quickly, let's figure out what we're going to be doing next week. So now, I don't know why this is grayed. This needs to be yellowed. Alright, so we are in the Anything Goes tier this week. That's a special reminder, Anything Goes. New tier this week, which means basically you can build whatever team you want. You're not restricted by the tier at all. Which Ubers is more or less like that, but for whatever reason they decided to make Ubers, which used to be the Anything Goes kind of tier, they decided to make it a tier in and of itself, so they had to make Anything Goes to allow people to continue playing with the stuff that got banned from every other tier. Banning things from Uber seems stupid. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But first, before we get into that, so this week is the champion battle, but as I explained a little bit at the end of last week, our champion battle could take a number of different turns. And so based on kind of how the Elite Four has worked in the other games, I decided, we'll run a random number generate. It could either be our rival, which has happened in games. It could be a member of the evil team, which I guess Diantha? No, Diancie is a Pokemon. I don't know. Wasn't the Elite Four member, or the champion of Kalos, wasn't she a member of the evil team? Or maybe she was just a random person. But anyway, and then you also have an Elite Four member. So if we roll Elite Four, that means we'll roll for a type. And the champion of the Gray region will have a type specialization like any other Elite Four member would, or gym leader would, or things like that. I think it makes sense that a champion might rise from the existing elite of the region, which most of which have a type thing. So if we roll this, we'll roll for a type. If we roll Evil Team, you guys put together your best Anything Goes Evil Teams, and the Evil Team admin or leader will be the Elite Four champion of this region, or you guys can convert your rival teams into Anything Goes and just bring the pain as our rivals. So 1 through 3, let's figure it out. We've got the numbers right here. Let's generate, and 1. All right, so number 1, it will be a final showdown of rivals. So that's fun. That'll be fun. So we won't roll a type or anything. You guys build whatever teams you want to, which I think works out because a lot of you guys were like, it doesn't matter what type you roll. I'm bringing dragons or something, I think somebody said. So there you go. You guys can put whatever you want to on your rival Pokemon. I would love to see your guys' starters come back in. I know like Mac will probably bring Chubbs, and I'm sure Nougat will bring Charmu, and all those guys. Looking forward to seeing them. So yeah, build your best Anything Goes teams. I'm going to build a team. Don't expect it to necessarily look just like my Uber's team. Now that we're kind of like, this is the kind of the loosey-goosey tier, so we can do whatever we want. And I think I'm going to have some fun building this team. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Gray, and you guys have been great. Again, thank you guys so much for participating. It means a lot. This series was all for you and by you, so any success that we had here was all because of you guys. And I really had fun getting to know you guys over the last 6 months or so that we've been running this series, and hanging out with you guys every day of the week and things like that, different guys and things like that. Battling has been a lot of fun. It's been great, and so I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this final champion battle of the series, the final battle of the series, which just happens to be the champion. We haven't battled well, I guess we technically have battled the champion before because you guys it'll be our rivals. But anyway, I'm rambling, and the episode's getting long again. So I'll see you guys next week. If you guys have not participated, but you'd be interested in getting in just as the series is ending, details on how to do that in the description down below. Go to Pokemon Showdown. It's the online battle simulator that we use. It's free. You don't have to download or register or do anything like that. Just jump on, build a team, and go. Details for how to find me once you get there are in the description as well. Feel free to put comments down below, questions down below if you have any thoughts there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Torm the Great, and you guys have been great. Very much looking forward to our final battles of the series this week. So I'll see you guys out there. And yeah, I've been Torm the Great, and you guys have been great. Have a good one.